Hello and welcome to ML Agents in Unity. I finally got this thing working now, and we're just gonna run through a bunch of all these example scenes of what these ML agents or machine learning agents do. So for this first one, it's 3D ball, where these guys basically balance the ball on their head and try and keep it on there as long as they can. If the ball falls off, they fail. And they try and learn from that mistake by changing it up to make sure the ball stays on there longer. So when we go to press play, we're going to see them trying to balance these balls on their heads. And honestly, right off the bat, they're doing pretty good. Not too bad. I kind of want to see who messes up first. This is not bad. They're doing pretty good for their first time. Who's going to drop the first ball? Trying to keep my eye on all of them. They're actually doing pretty good. I just want to see if one of them drops it, because that'll just to kind of show you what I mean. But they're doing pretty good. Usually, right off the bat, there'll be quite a few drops just because they're learning. But right out of the cage, they're doing pretty good. This is interesting. Well, those guys are obviously pretty successful. Basic is another example where this guy basically goes back and forth choosing the one with the most reward, if you will. Like there's two balls, one's smaller, one's larger, and it goes for the one with the biggest reward. This is kind of obviously by the name, it's basic. And I feel like once he does it the first time, he's gonna succeed. Crawler, this is just a kind of traversal type of example scene, spider-like, and he just needs to move in the direction. You got to see a little arrow underneath him telling him where he needs to go to get to the cube. When he gets to the cube, it's better. Every time he gets the cube, he moves better. Right now, he's kind of struggling a bit. So let's just see what happens when he gets the cube. I don't know if he's getting hung up on stuff, but he seems to be struggling a bit. This is taking a bit longer. Some of these ML agents are kind of back and forth, meaning some are usually pretty good and they're sucking. Okay, see, now he's kind of... No, he's not. Okay, I don't know what's going on there, but he's not having a good day. Dungeon Escape. I was happy I was able to finally play this, but these guys try and get the key to get to the door to unlock and get out of there. This is a dragon. The only thing I didn't like when I started playing this is that the dragon only kills one guy and disappears. You know what I mean? That's the only thing that I didn't care too much for. It'd be cool if the dragon stayed alive, because that would add a little bit more of a challenge. I didn't choose this as my final project to tweak. I honestly should have, so that way I can kind of keep him alive to go after the other two. I feel like that would have been a better setup and situation, but that's just how that one flows. They just keep on getting the key to get to the door, and they get better and better at it over time. Food collector is, I believe, just like a whole bunch of dots over the board, and these ML agents are trying to get all the food as much as they can and get to it as fast as they can. Kind of chaotic. Grid world scenes. Grid World was kind of interesting to me. I didn't choose this one just because I didn't really understand it all that well. I think they just need to go for the plus instead of the red. The green instead of the red. Hallway, scenes, boom. This one's straightforward. It's kind of like you got an X and an O. If an X pops up, he needs to go to X. If an O pops up, he needs to go to O. So it's an X, he's got to go to X. And that would trigger a reward. So he knows to go there. I don't think it's supposed to do X over and over and over again. It's supposed to change it up, I believe. Yeah, just like that. And then he has to go, but up there you go. Oh boy, nice. He keeps tricking me. I thought he was gonna fail. Okay, match 3. I wasn't really too interested in. It's just basically a board of a bunch of pictures, and you gotta match them up. Push block. This one's straightforward. These guys push the block into the green zone, and every time they do it, they get better and better at it to be able to figure out the best course to do that. Although these guys are some of these agents are like just knocking this out of the park, and then other agents are just, I don't know if it saves because I've played it several times. That's probably why. I haven't really closed this Unity window for a while, and I played these a bunch of times anyway, and I'm guessing that they're still saved to where they were before, so that's why they're doing pretty good right now, right out of the gate. That could make sense. Push block. This one was actually pretty good. No, not that one. Push block, scenes, collab. This one was honestly my favorite because I like. There you are. This one was my favorite because I love how, I love the teamwork involved, and I love how the blocks represent like how many people can move it. So either of these guys alone can push the one block. You need 2 people to push the 2 block, and then obviously 3 people to push the 3 block. It's funny to watch them kind of try and figure this out and get this done. But that's 4 guys. But you're doing it almost. There you go. But I really enjoyed. I mean, I know the agents by themselves are pretty interesting, but I love seeing the teamwork between the machine learning agents to get things done. So I kind of stole that for the one that I decided to go with. I love how they just keep hitting it. I love how one of them just like, it's like they just talk to each other in that moment, like, okay, together. All right, examples. We got pyramids. I'm going to save that for last. Shared assets, soccer. Soccer was one of my favorites. These guys just kind of knock the ball into the goal and get better over time doing it. But since I've played this several times, you're going to probably see them doing a pretty good job. This is actually a pretty good game. This is actually a pretty good game. Hey! Nobody's really doing better than the other. They're putting up a pretty good fight, and which is what I kind of talked about in one of my previous videos. I really hoped that they'd learn together and get better together, so that way the game would eventually become something like this, where it's a pretty good face-off and not one team just absolutely wiping the floor with the other. Sorter, startup. What was Sorter again? I think Sorter was. He has to go in order, yeah. 5 and then 6. So that's Sorter. Examples: Star Walker, wall jump. Walker is the same as the spider one, but with like an actual human body. Worm is the same thing. Scenes for wall jump. This one was actually pretty interesting, trying to get over the wall to the green space. But I did not choose this one. So he kind of like gets over the wall. It gets a little bit higher, and he kind of moves a block to be able to get to where he needs to go. These walls are a bit smaller, so he's able to do what he needs to do, but he can move the block when he needs to get to the other side, which I thought was pretty neat. The one I chose, though, was pyramids, because I honestly liked this layout and how this worked. So basically, when these guys start, they need to get to this little trigger. The original only has one. The original scene only has one. And he gets to a bunch of pyramids, white pyramids, you'll see in a sec, spawn around the map. He tries to find the trigger. When he finds a trigger, an orange pyramid pops up with a green block at the top, and he has to find that pyramid, knock it all down, and get the green block, and then he does it all over again. But I love the teamwork from the other ones, from the other scenes, the other examples. So what I wanted to do was bring that teamwork into this scenario, into this example. And instead of only having one pyramid pop up, two of them pop up. So that way they're working more as a team to try and solve it and get those blocks down. So when you see it, they're working together as a team, trying to run around. Instead of one person running around, they're all kind of trying to go around. I don't know why they bumped into each other. And now they're all kind of looking. I feel like this would be better because it would solve the problem faster, hopefully. I don't know what this guy... well, those two took it out pretty quickly. Of course, we're following the one that's not doing any work. There we go. Oh, I see. So it looks as though they only need to get one of them to advance. I'm going to have to tweak some coding for that then. So it's almost like, even though I had it spawn two, they just need one to advance. As you can see, they're still kind of learning because that one just ran to the complete opposite side of the map. I don't know why that other one hesitated, but that's what I created for my project. I just tweaked the settings in the code so that way I can have two pyramids spawn when they hit this trigger instead of one, and then I just selected this agent and then copied and pasted twice so that way I didn't have to worry about any of the coding again for each agent. So if you want to see what I did with the code, here's what happened. So under pyramids, scripts, pyramid switch. It was a really easy tweak. However, I'm going to need to try and figure out how we can make it so that way they're going to need to hit two goals. But what I did was had to go all the way down to the bottom, and this right here, this 2 was a 1. So one pyramid spawned in. And then I just changed it to the 2. But I'm going to have to figure out how I can tweak this setting so it pops. So they're going to have to do... So they'll have to do both green boxes instead of just one. But that's all I had to really change in the programming to get the second pyramid to pop up, which I thought was pretty cool. I was wondering how I was going to have to do that, and I opened up the script, and I was just kind of like reading through it just to see. And I saw 1, and I'm like, that's got to be it. And yeah, I love the teamwork with these. That's why I wanted to implement it in this one. And I think it works pretty well. I like how all three of them run around trying to find the trigger and then try and find the pyramids that they need to get to the green box. But that's my project. Those are the settings that I tweaked. This is the scenario that I chose, and I really like how it came out. I gotta say, the biggest thing is the teamwork for me. I love the teamwork. I love seeing machine learning agents working together. I love seeing AI working together to learn from each other. So that's why I really wanted to try and implement this, and I think it turned out pretty well.